everybody goes to college. Like most of us in here probably will, but there are also kids that go to tech school, or there are kids that go to like cosmetology school and like other places like that. And they're taking like these science classes, these social studies classes, these math classes that they're honestly never going to use again. So that's why I feel like it's really important to have those basic life skills for people like that.
Our parents teach us how to do that. We are privileged and not everyone has that, and they might not learn the things that our parents teach us about checkbook and just everyday life skills.
Well, I feel like it would at least be a good start, if nothing else. Like you could give an introduction into finances, like you said, and it could really like give a foundation for learning other life skills in college.
Yeah, building off what Daniel says, I think it's really important for people to have a financial basis when you go into college, just because, like, okay, a lot of us in here have gotten scholarships. Some of us have parental aid, stuff like that, but a lot of people are going to be on their own when they're in college. They're not going to have help paying for college. They have to get loans on their own. They're going to have to pay for food and other things like housing, stuff like that by themselves. So I think they really need to be somewhat prepared when they go into the real world, if you will.
Earlier about like making like where there's not enough kids to take certain classes and stuff. I was thinking what should maybe be done is like requiring that in math classes they have to kind of teach you some type of finance. So I know that in a lot of times math class we always say, well, how are we going to use this in the real world? Like how is learning whatever we are going to apply? And they kind of like say, well, will if you have a job in X, Y, or Z, or they give you like a word problem about something that doesn't really relate. But if they taught you like financing, like just even for a little bit about how to balance checkbooks, how to do your taxes, that kind of stuff, then they are applying it to real world situations that we will eventually face, and not just giving us like a, well, this could possibly maybe eventually happen. This will happen, this is how you're going to do it. And it's a math class that everyone has to take, so there will be enough kids and everyone will have an opportunity to learn these skills.
There are classes that we take where they don't really apply to the real world, even though what we're taking in there it has the potential to. Because I do know a class that we take, dual credit math, if you will, it's business calc, right? We aren't really taught how that applies in the financial world, but my dad's told me how that works with price points. That's like half of his job, working with derivatives and stuff like that. So like basic stuff like that, if they actually told us how that applies, because the name in general is business calc, you can assume that works in the real world, but we aren't necessarily taught how, I guess, how that really works or how we can use that in our future.
There are other skills beyond financial skills that are very important in the real world. Like in business applications, communicative skills and analytic skills are also extremely important. And those are something that can be taught in more or less all of our classes. Like what we're doing right now is a good example of something that helps us develop our communication skills. I think that could be done in a lot more of our classes to prepare us for the real world, like presentations and stuff like that could be done in a lot of our classes. And those are skills that will directly translate into the real world.
I've actually had a pretty good experience in regards to communication skills being a part of MSTC, because in the mornings we have a seminar class that involves all 50 of the MSTC seniors. And so a lot of times we talk about current events and we just kind of have conversations like we're doing here. So I think incorporating that into the entire high school would be a good way to improve communication skills.
Yeah, like where I go to Beaumont Middle School every day, it's being able to interact with adults and younger kids at the same time. It shows you a real gauge as to how people progress when they're communicating throughout middle school to high school to adulthood. And like being able to structure that better will further us so much more if we had a better communication system than we do today in high school.
I think it's not only with communication in general, but it's what type of communications. Like, for instance, on my site today, I called a bunch of different organizations, asking them if they wanted to renew stuff like that. Calling other people on the phone, something as basic as that could be difficult for some people because they don't know what they're supposed to say or what professional manner, because we do have a speech class, but you learn how to memorize lines, how to act out skits. It's almost like an intro to drama. So if we had something in place where we could simulate press conferences, sales pitch, something more relatable to the real world, I think that would really benefit the student body as a whole.
I think you could do that in a lot of your classes though. Maybe in the history class you would like present a sales pitch for something in the past to demonstrate a historical lesson or something like that. You could use that creatively in your other classes to implement communication skills.
From all the discussion, it sounded like one potential solution to this could be basically narrowing down all these practical skills into, like, say 4 different categories. So a general life skills class, and then a financial or money skills class, maybe a speech type class that is focused more towards interviews in real life kind of situations, and then a cooking class. So each year of your high school, one of those is assigned to you as like required. That would kind of get teachers to treat them more like core content classes and put more effort into developing the material that they teach and the quality that they, I guess, deliver it with to students. So it's not looked at so much as that joke class, and also since all students would be required to take it, teachers wouldn't be left with just kids who took it just to pass a class or get a credit.
For your freshman year, you're kind of taking a survey of different classes to kind of get you interested in what you're ultimately going to do with your future. But then as you're moving up the ranks in the class, you can more decide and focus on a track that you want to pursue.
And that proved very successful in like countries like Poland, where they had 1 year of high school to determine if their kids would go to a technical college or they would continue on to university. So I feel like that could be proven to be successful here because we have 1 year to figure out what we need to do to kind of get our mind organized and what we're trying to do in the track we want to go to. So if we have like that 1 year of like maturity out of middle school and we take a survey of classes like you said, I think it could be like really successful to determine what track we want to go to and what classes we should take.